Welcome, everyone. Happy Friday. It's review day. That's right. Today is the day we do the show. We review all the movies in theaters, and you will get the reviews today, and maybe we'll get some news. We'll see about that. On the show, also, we're talking about Novocaine, The Electric State. That's right. The new Netflix movie from the Russo brothers is here. Plus, the Toxic Avenger trailer just dropped. We're going to talk about it. Plus your chat comments and questions. And an interview today with the director of a music documentary, Endless Calls for Fame. We have the director on the show today. So join us. We'll get your comments and questions. People are going to comment on the theme music being different today. And the reason for that is I pushed the wrong button. That's exactly the reason. I'm a little salty today. Let's start the show. Let's go classic.
Alan!
Hey, so Friday is the day where we review movies.
Yes. And someone must have woken up. Someone must have woken up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch a
5:30
movie.
5:30.
5:30. So there we go.
Yeah.
Now we know why Chris is salty today.
So Friday is the day for people who watch the show on the regular where we review movies playing in theaters. We do some news at the top, but then Wednesday is our big news day. But Friday is the day we review movies. So that's what we'll do today. Right, Alan?
Yes.
Did you see the day the earth blew up? Because
Yes,
I did.
I did.
I've seen it twice now. It's
well, good. Okay. Well, we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. Lots there. Wow. People are pumped. It's let's say hi to people. Right here.
Andrew Cram gifted 10 Film Threat memberships.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you. Man, wow.
John Hu for 742. I won't be there for today's stream but I hope it's as excellent as always. I'll catch it later. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Hey,
I feel like fireworks will fly today. Let's just put it there.
Yeah.
Slim Jim 491, member for 15 months. Happy Friday, gents. When will you screen Snow White?
Tuesday. So we can either do a late night stream Tuesday night, or we will talk about Snow White on Wednesday. You will decide. Let's put up a poll. Atomic Lori, if you would put up a poll, talk about Snow White Tuesday late night stream, Wednesday regular stream. Let's go. You will decide.
Brandon Powell for 499. Happy Friday, Film Threat. Without spoilers, will Bullseye surviving his fall off a building be explored later in Daredevil, or is he just healthy and fine? Both. Yes. Alejandro Montoya Morin. Hey. For 5, good morning. So excited to see Novocaine this weekend. I hear Matt Walsh is in it. Yes, he is.
Yes, Matt Walsh is in it.
I love Matt Walsh.
One of the Matt Walshes is in it. Thanks, Alejandro.
Well, Alejandro and I have conversed about Matt Walsh. ZG gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. That's 15 people.
Thank you, ZG. That's amazing. So many new members.
And Akanika, member for 31 months. Have we been doing this that long?
Yeah.
Reviews aplenty.
Thank you.
And Hertz Donut says Salty Chris is best Chris.
And thank you, Salty.
And from the great Lord Thoth, like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Sign up as a member. Join us on X, Discord, Rumble, and Instagram. Buy our merch. Shop.filmthreat.com.
Look at all this merch. We have the superhero style merch, which I love. I got the Fantastic Four shirt, which I can't wait to wear. So Thank you for that. And Sons and Shadows gifted 5 Film Threat memberships. The memberships are growing. Thank you for that. So yeah, definitely support us. Get something at shop.filmthreat.com. So much news to get to today. So let's get to it. But before we do, quick reminder, Film Threat is a sponsor of the Credo 23 Film Festival. That is March 28th through 30th. Get more info at credo23filmfest.com. There are cheap tickets available for all weekend. Buy a day of tickets. Go there. It's Justine Bateman's film festival. She is taking a more humanistic approach to filmmaking and movies. It's anti-AI. There are panels, there are movies, and Film Threat is a sponsor. So check it out. I'll show you a quick look at this. It will be a lot of fun. Alan and I will both be there. Justine Bateman will be there. It's open to the public. Anyone can buy a ticket. So get yourself a ticket and check out credo23filmfest.com. Okay, so much to get to, and we will do every news story that's on here. This might be a 3-hour show, which was a decision that I was not a part of, but that's what we'll do. First up, I am a huge fan of trauma films. I love trauma. We had Lloyd Kaufman on the show recently, and I have not seen this trailer. I saw it pop up in my feed. I put it in our stories to cover. We are going to react to the 1-minute teaser trailer for the Toxic Avenger. This is a big budget remake of the original Toxic Avenger from the 80s, a beloved exploitation movie, kind of ridiculous, set in Tromaville. It kind of established Troma as a company. Are you a fan of the Toxic Avenger, Alan?
I'm a fan of the Toxic Avenger series, and we did talk with Lloyd about this 2 weeks ago on this very show.
It's one of the few R-rated movies, there are more, that had a toy line and a cartoon. There was a cartoon, a Toxic Avenger cartoon and line of toys based on an R-rated movie, which is kind of cool. I have not watched this. I saw the first few seconds, but here we're going to see it. It's the Red Band trailer.
Oh, yes.
All right. We might get in trouble for this. Okay. Let's watch together. Wow. Okay. I got to say, did not expect it to be that violent. That is the Red Band trailer. I'm sorry if you spit out your coffee, but that's kind of crazy. That is crazy.
I
like
remember
it.
I remember 2 years ago, someone texted me and said, "Hey, the Toxic Avenger is going to be the screen unseen movie at the Regal. You need to go to that."
And it wasn't.
It wasn't. It was a John Cena movie.
We saw the worst movie. Now this look. How do you remake a movie that was made to be intentionally dumb and ridiculous? I don't know if they lean into and Peter Dinklage is in this is crazy. So I like it. I like it. I like what I've seen. It's a good tease. I think maybe a little shorter, but I'll go. I'm there on day one. It opens Labor Day weekend, apparently, or late August.
Yeah. It's weird. I miss the low budget B movie campiness of the original in that. But I think they're leaning into the gore, which is, I guess, the direction they'll take it.
Well, the more gore, the better. By the way, they're going to be, we will discuss it and we will definitely review it when it comes out. Quick comments here.
H is for hedonism. Toxic Avenger was so bloody good. Grew up on the cartoon, watched the movie as a teen. So cheesy and awesome.
I remember the toys; they were great.
Helios ending for 5 Canadian. Have you guys seen Penis? Love the original movie, but my favorite will always be its sequel, Penis to Vagina. Man to woman, woman to man, penis to vagina.
Penis to vagina?
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 I'm deleting that clip. You can't ever play that again. I'm scarred.
I'm not the one.
I'm scarred.
Are you talking about the trailer or the song?
You're singing.
I know. Well, you're the one who keeps hitting that button. Gabe's Lab for 10R. Hey there. What are the 2 best movie critique videos on YouTube? Cheers from Brazil. It would be this one. The Film Threat Friday live stream would be one.
Yeah, I would recommend that. That's one of the great ones. I don't know. I watch a variety of people. I watch everything from John Campea to Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers. So I'm all over the map. Robert Meyer Burnett is great. Verbal Riot. Everyone we have on Versus is amazing. Nerd Cookies. I watch all her videos on Dune. Yeah, I mean, also RLM, Red Letter Media. I watch. So yeah, I'm all over the map. Even I watch Grace Randolph, for her. I want different perspectives. I don't have to agree. I love conversation. So we have a lot. So we're going to have limited comments today because we have 900 news stories. So this was one that Alan put in here. Anthony Mackie has been very vocal of late. I don't think he's said, I know some people get bent out of shape over some of these things. Having followed Anthony Mackie for years, he seems very based. Alan, if you would share, I like some of his comments, and I think some of his other comments are out of context or misinterpreted. Alan, would you take the lead on this story?
Okay, before the ad loads here. Hold on. All right. We'll just get to the highlights. Mackie explains in an interview that a strong male presence is more important than ever and is dedicated to setting that example for his 4 sons. He believes that masculinity is about responsibility, discipline, and protecting those you love. From a young age, he has taught his boys the importance of respect, whether it's saying thank you, opening doors, or taking care of family. His 15-year-old son is already stepping up as a leader, reinforcing the values his father instilled in him. For Mackie, success isn't measured by money or fame. It's about raising strong, principled young men who will grow into dependable and honorable leaders.
I saw the video where he said those words. I think he's a great father. He clearly has raised great kids. His older son is the one in charge. You get the oldest son right. The younger brothers will turn out well. He is a very based in common sense and raising his kids. I think some of the comments he made, these other comments he made about being plucked and, working hard and then suddenly you just get lucky. I believe he was talking about Hollywood, not the world. Yeah. In Hollywood, that's actually true. There can be 50 equally talented actors that are all good looking and disciplined and really good actors, and one is chosen, sometimes not for all the right reasons. So I like him a lot. Here's the problem with this Captain America movie. He's a great Sam Wilson. No one wanted to see him as Captain America. And I think it is now being reported in other stories. Maybe you can bring one up, Alan, that this is the worst performing at the box office of any Marvel movie, or it's one of the worst.
It is the worst performing.
It is the worst now. I mean, it's the box office run is not over yet, but it will be the worst. What does that tell you? What does that tell you?
That success is given and not earned.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go to the success comment. He basically said that success is given, it's not earned. The issue I have with that is his definition of success. And you mentioned it there. Success that he's talking about is this Hollywood lottery ticket that goes to some random person. Who knows, maybe Mikey Madison, Millie Bobby Brown. These are people who got lucky and was pushed to the top. But the thing is that success only applies to a handful of people every year in Hollywood.
Right.
Versus success in life, success in your family, success in your job, success in your careers. That is where hard work comes in. Without hard work, you cannot attain even that modicum of success there. I think context is always the key to a lot of these interviews, these clips that come out. I think Mackie, he definitely believes what he says, but I think he was speaking to that lottery system that is Hollywood versus general success. You look, if you don't work hard, you have zero chance of succeeding unless it's given to you. It's weird how it works that way.
Yeah, well, but part of in Hollywood, it is luck. And also part of it, I will tell you this, is are you fun to hang out with for 18 hours on a film set? Yeah. People that actually, a lot of people have careers that are just maybe not that great on camera, but they're super fun to have on set.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, anyways. I mean, look at Star Wars. Who is the successful one from Star Wars? Harrison Ford.
Right.
What happened to Mark Hamill? Had a good career. He worked hard and got a career. Same with Carrie Fisher. With hers was a little rocky adventure there, but the lucky one, the one whose success was given to him was Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford worked as a carpenter. Mm-hmm. When Lucas, he did American Graffiti, he had a bit part where he really stood out, and then he was doing carpentry in the offices. So he read with people. Mm-hmm. And Lucas's thing, he didn't want to work with the same actors. He wanted to have a different group of actors for all his movies. And, look what happened.
Well, yeah, success was given to him, not to Mark Hamill. And so he's right in a way, but again, it's this definition of what success is. That's the issue of these comments.
I just think the comment only applies to entertainment, where that can happen. You are chosen. So I don't take his comments as being broad. Yeah. Let's go to your comments.
Yeah, from Video Man and Gizmo, Alan and Chris, can you recommend a festival in America we can send our movie to? Feature film, independent. I have films on Fantastic Fest and Screen Fest before, but everything seems woke now.
Yes, it is. So good luck.
Yeah.
I think festivals aren't as important as they used to be. And if you have a movie that's doesn't fit a certain political ideology, good luck. Festivals don't want you. Your genre festivals, if it's a genre movie, send it only to genre festivals.
Well, horror breaks out of the genre festivals because every festival has a horror section. I would say Newport Beach Film Festival. They have a good blend of truly independent, covering a wide spectrum of politics. Dances with Films could also be another one in terms of features.
And South by and Slam Dance. Continuing on.
First name, last name. Luck equals opportunity meets preparation. Skiz Feedback Esquire gifted 5 Film Threat memberships.
Hey, thank you, Skiz.
And Gabs Labs for 10R. Use Grok to correct my grammar. He changed it and I didn't see it. What I intended to say was you guys ate the best critics on YouTube.
Well, thank you. We ate them. Thanks,
Yes.
Scabs Labs.
Yeah. And thanks, Grok. MK Solid. I think in Hollywood it can be given, not earned. That's probably what he meant.
Yes, in Hollywood, it can be given, not earned. True, in Hollywood. Not, I think, in life in other arenas. I'm glad we're getting more to a merit-based society.
Yeah, like politics. That's one that will always be merit-based. Winged Forum, Winged Forum Freedom. He's a walking contradiction. He sometimes has based comments and other times just flat out stupid comments.
Yes, sometimes his comments are misinterpreted. You know what? I'm having watched him for years. I think he is more based. Also, when you're in Hollywood being bombarded with dumb questions, and it's the only time I've ever felt sorry for celebrities is at a film junket when they're answering stupid questions for 8 hours. 8 hours.
The gayest Star Wars ever.
Yeah. And like a lot of these questions are a trap. So I think that overall, I'm a glass half full guy. I'm a fan of Anthony Mackie. I am not a fan of him playing Captain America. And that's not his fault. Yeah. He's doing his job as an actor. So, and also as someone, both Alan and I can attest, we've done hundreds of hours on YouTube and never once did we say anything stupid that could be taken out of context. Right, Alan?
Right.
Not one time. No. There has never been
There's not a video in our system that you could play.
Search all you want.
Us screwing up.
So, go ahead. If you've got the time, pour through hundreds of hours. I'm sure AI can help. Never once did Alan and I say anything dumb. Never once through the challenge.
Yeah.
Alan agrees with me.
Yeah.
So I give him the benefit of the doubt as someone who has said really stupid things. I'm going to be honest with you. I've said a lot of stupid things. So, hey, Snow White is coming. And we've got several news stories about it. It will be the topic of our Monday Versus. Alan, if you would bring up this news story. Snow White is being slammed for the overuse of CGI dwarves. Now, of course, we know the whole controversy with Snow White, where Peter Dinklage talked about this new Snow White movie and dwarves, and they end up taking jobs away. Peter Dinklage's critique may have contributed, I say may, no proof, may have contributed to the use of CGI dwarves in the movie. Alan, if you would bring up the story.
Yes, here we go. The backlash continues. Actress and Little Woman LA guest star Ali Chapman called out Disney for replacing the Seven Dwarves with CGI in the new live action movie. It's a movie that's supposed to have real dwarves. Instead, Disney chose to use CGI to replace actors and actresses that are little people that are very talented, Chapman told TMZ on Wednesday. Let's see, Peter Dinklage's actress Ali Chapman and her husband Matt McCarthy criticized the movie, calling it a missed opportunity for little people in Hollywood. Peter Dinklage also previously slammed the film for keeping what he called an outdated portrayal of dwarves while making other progressive changes. Meanwhile, actor Martin Kleba, one of the film's voice actors, expressed disappointment that Disney scaled back the movie's premiere due to the controversy. As the film's March 21st release approaches, debate over representation in Hollywood continues. Yeah,
I'm not surprised. I think the CGI dwarves, as we've seen in the trailers, look terrible. They look like AI. Like they have that creepy look. There's not anything whimsical about these CGI dwarves. Alan, your thoughts? And I have another related story we'll get to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we've definitely talked about this a lot. It was, I mean, the use of CGI dwarves seems to be a compromise that the worst compromise ever. Because you could have either have done the actual dwarves from the Disney classic in CGI, or you could just hired little people to actually play the dwarves. Instead, we got this middle ground that looks awful, and it. Yeah, why? I don't know how a decision like that is made, because it was simple: either cast real people or you copy Walt Disney's dwarves, and they chose not to go in either direction.
Now, you and I are seeing Snow White next week on Tuesday.
Yeah.
There's a poll we're going to do about maybe we should just do an out of the theater reaction. But we have another story related from our friends at That Park Place. If you can read it on your computer, Alan, or read the synopsis of it.
Yeah.
Disney reportedly doesn't know what to do with out of control Rachel Zegler as Snow White promotion falls apart. One thing I've seen, there's this video that surfaced of her, like, is she at Disneyland?
No, she was singing the singing thing, right?
Yeah.
She was in France in front of the castle that inspired the castle in Snow White, and she sang one of the songs from the film.
She sang one of the songs from the film, and they cut to a little girl mouthing the words, which I think was total BS. But she's not doing any media. It's very controlled. She's only being interviewed by like people that are safe, which is basically Disney people off camera answering canned questions where her answers are rehearsed. If you would read this story from our pals at That Park Place, Alan, while I try to get these ads to go away.
Yeah, Disney's Snow White remake is turning into a full-blown PR disaster, and a lot of it comes down to lead actress Rachel Zegler. According to insiders, the Disney executives have repeatedly asked her to dial back her outspoken political views and critical comments about the original 1937 film, but she's refused. From mocking the classic storyline and dismissing the prince's role as creepy to making fiery political statements, Zegler has alienated many Disney fans, turning her into one of the most polarizing figures in Hollywood. Now, with backlash mounting, Disney is scrambling to control the narrative. Instead of a traditional press interviews, which could lead to tough questions, they're leaning into carefully chosen influencers to help promote the movie in a more controlled way. With the film's release just around the corner and confidence in the reception seemingly low, Disney is clearly in damage control mode.
Yeah, it will be very interesting. The LA premiere is Tuesday, I believe. You and I are seeing it Tuesday. Mm-hmm. We will do an out of the theater reaction. Not sure we'll do a late night stream, but the very next day we'll be covering the Snow White. I've heard things, Alan, last thing before we go to your comments. I've heard it's actually not that bad.
Yeah. I don't know your source. My source says that it's good, not great. Songs are okay. And the word he used was safe. The movie is very safe. Which, again, I think that just goes to, it will probably do Mufasa numbers. And the beauty of that is, even though Snow White may lose money for Disney, to have a $300 and $400 million box office means a lot to theaters. That's something theaters desperately want, and they don't care how good the movie is. Just bring people into the theater.
Let's go to your comments here.
H is for hedonism. The new dwarves look less human than the original 1937 dwarves. Yep. They look like freaks. Scott Christie Jones. This was the premiere. Media not invited. I think this is a smart move on Disney's part of just promote the movie. Don't let anyone talk about it. Get it out there. Get it over with. From Corky's Chilling. Disney could have avoided all this by casting a stunning brunette or just another stunning actress rather than Rachel Zegler. SAS 777. The castle is in Spain, not France, Alan. The Alcazar de Segovia. All right, calm down.
Yep. And apparently, excuse me, people want Tuesday night. So we will do so we will do a late night. It'll be Film Threat After Dark on Wednesday late night, probably like 10 p.m.
Yeah, 9 to 10, somewhere in there.
10 p.m. You have to drive home.
Yep.
So 10 p.m. or later Pacific time, we'll do a very short late night stream. We'll also do an out of the theater reaction. So we're doing both, Alan. We're doing both. So look for us on Tuesday night and Wednesday, and we will milk the crap out of it. So there you go. One last thing now before we get to our reviews, and we have a lot today. This is a Gore Rant. I don't know why someone changed my title I had, but here we go. I'm going to change it back to a Gore Rant. I have something to say. And you know what happens when I get a little pissed off. I have something to say.
A freaking IKEA chair.
Be careful when you play word games. Be careful. Because let me just say this, and this has happened on this channel. Now, I do this because obviously I am a fan of John Campea. There is a YouTube channel, which I do not endorse, called Campea Exposed. If you've never heard of this channel, it runs clips from the John Campea show. Thankfully, there is not an Alan Exposed channel. But this 20-second clip, which I'm about to share with you, which you need to see what happened here, because this has happened on this show. And this is a warning. Don't try this. And Alan, don't get sucked in. I might play this clip twice because I want you to pay close attention to what's on the screen. And I'll go over it for those only listening. Look at this, Alan, if you would.
Lou Sazzle says, I'm a big Japanese film fan. Have you ever seen or heard of a horror movie, Kwaidan? It stars legendary actors Tatsuya Nakadai, Michio Aratama, Woody Yu, Jack Mayhoff, and Rentaro Mikuni. Amazing film for you and your audience to check out. Kwaidan. Never heard of it.
So, okay. Well, no. Now, wait. You think that's funny?
I do think that's funny.
Okay. There have been people on our very channel. I'm speaking to you, Fauci's prison butt. And among others, I'm being serious, who have tried this very thing with us. So, and just thank you to Campea Exposed for not copyright claiming this in case that happens. But I just want to say, you try this at your own risk. Now, Alan, I want you to pay attention. I need to pay attention. Atomic Lori needs to pay attention. This cannot happen. Let me play it again so people will get the full. Let's watch it. 20 seconds.
Lou Sazzle says, I'm a big Japanese film fan. Have you ever seen or heard of a horror movie, Kwaidan? It stars legendary actors Tatsuya Nakadai, Michio Aratama, Woody Yu, Jack Mayhoff, and Rentaro Mikuni. Amazing film for you and your audience to check out. Kwaidan. Never heard of it.
So, look, I just want to say, if you try to pull something like that, we'll probably fall for it. But also, please do not. Do not.
A freaking IKEA chair.
Alan, if you would go to comments, because I'm going to get more coffee.
All right. Let's see. Here we go. From Aurora Uplinks for 5. I am hopeful we will get some new science fiction films from Disney with charismatic characters, actual interesting space culture, and world building story. Are you talking about Elio? Because I just saw the trailer for that one. For Film Threat from Rumble, from Lou Skunt. This is an outrage. Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Who else do we have here? From Tyler Jackson, Mike Humsmells. What is that? Let's see. Legendary hero Seymour Butts. Let me see. There are a few more here. Let's see. And then from Rumble as well, from Anita Mandablo, never. There we go. So let's see. What else do we have here? From Solomon Thornton, Kwaidan is a good Japanese movie. It's a horror anthology. Dragonwise, married for 2 months. Chris, I still haven't gotten my laptop. Yeah, you just keep emailing him. Keep DMing him. Olo Lee Ukui, I have funnier things to do with my time. Let's see. All right. And let's see. Here we go. From Robin Mbakakam. Let's see. Akinika Campia is so meh. Let's see. Dragonwise, Wilma Fingerdew. From Uncle Remus, Phil McCracken. Yes. Let me see. Okay, from Beerosaurus Rex. What about the upcoming Russian filmmaker Urinator? Yeah, what about that guy? Laura, you had another one. Here we go. Lance Uppercut 37, Amanda Hug and Kiss. Yeah, don't forget great Irish LGBT filmmakers, Michael Fitzpatrick and Patrick Fitzmichael. Oliver Lavery Farag. Is Chris saying there is something wrong with this? Maybe. Wow, he's taking a long time to come back. Let's see. Here we go. Dragonwise, Willie Fisterbottom. Let's see. The Brujo. Breaking news from NASA. Klingon spotted around Uranus. That's horrible. Let's see. Crispy 1186. Huge G Rection. Why are we just putting names out here? Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Razorbrain. At least Alan reads better than Beardo. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
All right. We have a lot of movies to review. Are we done with these?
Saying that.
Yeah, I heard you, Alan. You did a good job. Okay, so unstar these if you would.
Yeah, hold on. Oh yeah, here we go. Lance Uppercut 37, Dixon Cider.
That is an old song. I hear it's an old song. And Scott Christie Jones, guess what's coming September, lads? Why don't you just tell us? But thank you for the.
I know what it is.
Super, very generous. All right, it's time for reviews. We'll talk about Novocaine, the Electric State. We have a lot to get to. Alan, if you would get the posters up.
Yeah.
And we will start with our first review.
All right.
You know, I'm going to play.
Hashtag cancel Disney Plus.
Do you want to start with this one? Or do you have a different?
No, it's good. It's cool. There's a lot of movies opening in theaters this weekend. Some hits and misses. Black Bag is from director Steven Soderbergh. It is a taut thriller. A taut thriller, spy thriller about people who work for an organization in England, with an all-star cast. I mean, this cast is amazing. You've got Michael Fassbender as George, Kate Blanchett as Catherine. They are husband and wife, and they have an interesting dinner party that opens the film, where we meet two other couples, and one of them is cheating. George suspects that his wife Catherine may be cheating on him and uses the resources at this spy agency to uncover if she is actually cheating on him. There are layers of betrayal in this, culminating in a tense dinner party, kind of bookending the film. Obviously, no spoilers. This is a very smart thriller in the vein of like old school. This isn't James Bond. There's not a lot of action, and it really does get into what I believe the real spy world is, which is surveillance, deception, kind of mundane. And it's also 93 minutes long. I was into it. Great performances, very subtle with what's going on. Michael Fassbender is great. Pierce Brosnan is in it as the head of a department in this agency. Really enjoyed it. Riveting. It's not James Bond. This is mundane James Bond, but in a good way, like Tinker Tailor's Soldier Spy, kind of on that level. So I recommend it. I really enjoyed it. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, you enjoyed it more than I did. I'm okay with the movie. It's the tone. It's a very plodding tone. Michael Fassbender's character is very monotone. He's very one note. He's like this human lie detector, and I think that's kind of his gimmick in this. I'll say this: what I like about the movie, I like the husband and wife stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that there's a treasonous there's a traitor in the group,
right?
And that traitor and Michael Fassbender's character has to figure out who it is without letting anybody know. And that traitor certainly could be his wife. And to me, that's the heart of this movie. And I feel like I didn't get enough of that. I felt like it was mostly about dinner parties and talking, and I just wasn't as, I'm very meh on the movie because I think I just wanted some excitement and some energy in it, and I didn't feel like I got it. This is definitely one of those where, if you're a fan of Soderbergh, this is very different from the Ocean's 11 series. But if you're a fan of Soderbergh and David, I think it's Knepp who did Presence and has collaborated with Soderbergh for a long time, you're gonna find some enjoyment in this. I'm just not the movie is just not one that I'm overly enthusiastic about, nor would I, enthusiastically tell people you need to see this movie.
I went in with very low expectations. I think the relationship, Cate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender, their chemistry, amazing.
Yeah,
they're
but
like
Cate Blanchett is the one who
they're husband and wife that are they freaking love each other. They would kill for the other person, but also they would kill the other person if they were the spy. So that is like the way that it's the way it plays out is great, obviously. And also it's like 90 minutes in, out, boom, you're done. And even Soderbergh, I saw in an interview, talk about like, hey, my last 3 movies have been 90 minutes long. Like he's into keeping it tight, entertain, boom, you're done. So, and I did not like Presence. We reviewed that a few weeks ago. Didn't like that one. This one, he did a great job, back to form, and a great cast too. So I recommend it. Alan?
I will say that Cate Blanchett is the best thing in the movie. I'm not enthusiastic about the supporting cast, the non-Asian supporting cast. So and Michael Fassbender, I mean, anyone can play monotone throughout an entire movie. He brings a little bit of swagger to it, but if you're going to see this movie, it's because of Cate Blanchett's performance.
Let's go to your comments. We have limited comments, unfortunately.
Yeah, Sin's Corner. I enjoy the heck out of Black Bag.
I did well. Hey, Sin.
Olo Liukui. So the B story of True Lies.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, it's me in HD. So this is all espionage, intrigue, sans action. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, it ends at a dinner party where it began. Scott Christie Jones for £2. There was a pregnant emoji. Anyways, back to films.
Thank you.
Tim is not funny. Says husband and wife stuff was rich. Cool to see the dynamic between the characters.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. All right, next movie, we will go to The Day the Earth Blew Up. Alan, if you would.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There we go. The Day the Earth Blew Up, a Looney Tunes movie. This is a feature-length animated movie starring Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. They are friends to the end, brought up by Farmer Jim, who leaves them a home and says, please take care of this home and always support each other. Farmer Jim leaves them to grow up and become, quote, responsible adults and or pig and duck. There's an alien invasion and gum that turns humans into zombies. Look, the plot is ridiculous. It involves the end of the world or maybe the end of the world. This is Looney Tunes back to form. I don't want to ruin any of the jokes or the story, which is ridiculous. It involves gum that changes you into zombies. It involves space travel, aliens with strange motivations. You zombies that say chew. And the film works on two layers. For kids will enjoy it, but parts are scary. The story, elements of the story are inspired by, you will not believe this, zombie movies, Evil Dead, John Carpenter's The Thing, very inspired by that, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I kid you not. All of those are inspired aspects of the movie, and it's over the top. It's really Looney Tunes for adults. Some of the layers of humor are so good. I saw it with a packed audience in Burbank that was laughing the whole time. I was always a Looney Tunes guy. I was never a Disney guy as a kid. I loved Bugs Bunny and the Bugs Bunny Show, all the Looney Tunes, Wile E. Coyote, Roadrunner. These were cool cartoons. Walt Disney cartoons, Mickey Mouse and whatnot, Goofy, that was for little kids. I found it milquetoast. Never a big Disney fan, always a Looney Tunes fan. And I got to say this, there are guns in the movie. If I'm seeing a Looney Tunes movie, give me some guns. There's guns and weapons and lasers and flamethrowers, and inspired by classic horror movies. I loved it. 9 out of 10. Go see it. I've seen it twice now. Love the film, but it is really for hardcore. If you have to be a fan of Looney Tunes. The humor is also fast and stuff goes by quick. I loved it. Alan?
Yeah, you like this movie better than I did.
Okay, there you go.
Oh my gosh. It's like 90 minutes was a chore for me to get through. We like 90-minute movies. This one,
it's a crowd pleaser.
About an hour in, I'm like, this movie has to end. Look, I love the fact that this is 2D hand-drawn animation. I miss it. I love seeing it here. Let's see. Also, I'll make one observation. You mentioned it's homage to zombie films. There is a Ren and Stimpy feel to this movie.
Yes.
In terms of the humor, a lot of butts, a lot of, you have the animated Ren and Stimpy, and then they cut to some kind of like, it looks like a painting of something or
yes, very Ren and Stimpy inspired. So they're paintings. There's a joke with Farmer Jim in the beginning of the movie where people lost it in the theater.
Is it where he's
so ridiculous? Yeah.
Is it where he's like,
no, don't say it's so good. It gets a huge laugh.
Okay, so you bring up something that I'll point out here. You saw it with a crowd. I saw it by myself in
Yeah,
a
I saw
giant
it.
movie theater. And I think there's something to be said about seeing this in a crowd versus
Yeah.
alone. And oddly enough, it was a movie theater that I saw it in. To me, it just wasn't funny enough. Maybe if there was a crowd, I would have laughed out loud a little bit more, but I didn't. I never found myself laughing out loud about this one. I found myself kind of feeling bored near the end, especially when the second, third act comes in. This is the one big issue I have with this movie is Porky Pig and Daffy Duck. The Looney Tunes movies and cartoons and shorts that I've loved always featured conflict between the two characters, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd. In this one, they're friends. They're friends from start to beginning. And there is a bit of conflict, more personality conflict between them than there is real conflict, real relationship conflict. It kind of plays out. There is a rift in that relationship, but it is this conflict that runs throughout the entire film or short films like Rabbit Season, Duck Season. They're constantly at odds with each other. And to see them as friends just kind of lessens the impact of that.
But there's tons of conflict that pays off at the end between the two of them.
Yeah,
Like,
I understand that. It builds to it, but it's established right up front that they're best friends.
And by the way, you are more of a Disney guy. I am more of a Looney Tunes guy. Those senses of humor are very different. One is more wholesome, and the other one is the opposite of wholesome.
Well,
so I say if you like Looney Tunes, you will like this, and then I'll leave it there.
Yeah, look, I'm a Looney Tunes fan too. Look, every afternoon when I got home from school, it was Looney Tunes. That's all there was on television. Mickey Mouse was not on television. It was Bugs Bunny, Elmer Fudd, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, Sylvester, and Tweety Bird. All those cartoons are about the conflicts between the two main characters. And this one, when they're friends, you don't. The comedy doesn't come out like it should because they're friends, because they're not at odds with each other. And that's something I miss. I wish there was a little bit more. I wish they were a bit more meaner to each other, just so I can get through to the end of this 90-minute movie. So, look, this is for kids. I will disagree. I think it is for kids. I think you can take your small kids. We talked last week about the Night of the Zoopocalypse. That was a kid's film. That was a horror film made by Clive Barker. This is kind of the same thing. I think kids can handle this kind of horror. Definitely, it's for kids, but I think when you, as a fan of Looney Tunes, I think you're going to see what I see. And this weird relationship between Porky and Daffy didn't do it for me.
Well, I loved it, so I recommend it. And also, I never chew gum. This movie made me want to chew gum.
Let's go to your not want to chew gum.
All right, let's go to your comments.
Okay, Mr. Maestro, member for 3 months. I can take my kids to one. Which do you choose? The Day the Earth Blew Up or Night of the Zoopocalypse? Look, if you want your kids to be into Looney Tunes, take them to see.
I would say Day the Earth Blew Up.
Yeah, Night of the Zoopocalypse. Take them to both. Ololiukui. Other than the animation, my biggest issue would be how do the voices measure up to the originals?
Fantastic.
Yeah, I like Eric Bauza as
he did a great job.
Yeah, he's practically the Mel Blanc over at Warner Brothers.
He's amazing.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to laugh for 5. Thoughts on Paramount saying that they will integrate more AI at South by Southwest. Justin Bateman posted about this too.
We will. I know. I'm familiar with that post. We'll talk about it on Monday on Versus. Atomic Glory saved this question for Monday. Thank you very much.
Okay. Christopher Moonlight Productions. Does it feel like something Chuck Jones would do? He's a huge influence on my own work, and I can't understand enough how much aspiring filmmakers can learn from his work.
It definitely feels like Chuck Jones, Tex Avery, and John Cristofalusi in a blender. Over the top animation.
Yeah, I would say no, but John Chris Falusi, definitely. Sons and Shadows. Chris is selling me on this.
Well, good.
Yeah, go see it. Oliver Lavery Farag, is Marvin the Martian one of the aliens?
Nope.
No, I wish though. The Nerd Far Away. Genuine question: who wrote this? Is it anything like classic Looney Tunes?
It definitely classic Looney Tunes, but more updated. And there were like eight writers that were credited.
Yeah,
So
and I'm pretty sure they got sections of the movie because you can definitely feel distinct sections of story within it.
Yes.
Razorburn, love Looney Tunes way better than Disney Tunes. Yeah,
See, someone smart agrees with me.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that. There's certain.
All right, come on, we have to do more reviews because we had 900 news stories at the top.
Really, we had 5, but that's okay.
Well, we have to. I said my piece on that. It's a separate issue. Let's go to Novocaine. Let's talk about Novocaine. Novocaine stars Jack Quaid as Nathan Kane, who has a disease where he cannot feel pain. He works at a bank where he has a crush on a girl who works at the bank who also happens to be an artist. She's an aspiring artist. She has some unique tattoos. He gets to know her outside of work, and he's kind of taken with this woman. When bank robbers come to his bank and take her hostage, Nathan Kane goes off on a journey to rescue the girl that he is attracted to. So he's on a mission, and kind of his ability, his sort of weird ability, some would say superpower, to not feel pain, aids him in this journey against this gang of gangsters who kidnap the girl who is the apple of his eye, which leads to a lot of ridiculous, almost Looney Tunes inspired humor, where Jack's hand is deep fried. He's stabbed with arrows, screwdrivers. He's shot, stabbed. Horrible things happen to Nathan Kane on this journey. He steals a cop car and he's off in pursuit with a gun. Never really fired a gun in his life. And it's Jack. If you know Jack Quaid's demeanor, that's the character. He's playing Jack Quaid with a minor superpower, where he doesn't feel pain. I really wanted to like this. It was so predictable, and I like Jack Quaid. He's one of the redeeming aspects of The Boys, which has since gone off the rails, especially the recent season. But I like Jack Quaid. I like him as an actor. He just plays Jack Quaid, goofy, out of place guy, not particularly masculine. I don't know. I wanted to like this movie. There are some twists at the end. It doesn't help it. I saw it coming a mile away. I predicted every twist. There are several. And by the end, I just didn't care. So I can't recommend it. And I feel sad saying this because Jack Quaid should be in a better movie, but in the end, it was just, I get it. And all the best jokes are in the trailer. Alan, what did you think?
Yeah, if I could have walked out of a movie, this would have been the one.
Oh, wow, really? Okay.
Well, and it's not for the reason you think. I think I'm okay with the story. It played out well, but it's basically torture porn for masochists.
Right.
The things that happens to Nathan Kane here, I was just uncomfortable watching. There were certain scenes where it's like, this is a good time to go to the bathroom, and I went to the bathroom just to kind of know, because I was like I was up to the brim with just this goriness that was happening in this movie. This is not my type of movie. I think I went in thinking it was going to be more funny than it was gory, and I was wrong. It was way too gory. I also saw this in 4DX, and I'll tell you,
wow.
a sex scene in 4DX. They didn't do it. They didn't do a damn thing. It's funny. Yeah, the time the first, it was 20 minutes in before you got the 4DX effect, which was a knife in the back. We got that one. Look, this is not my movie. The gore was just over the top, and like I said, if I didn't have to sit through the entire movie, I would have walked out about halfway through, just knowing, okay, I get it. I get what this movie's about, because it's just too much for me, and that's why I don't watch horror films, and why I let you do it.
You're right. The trailer played it more of a comedy, and the actual movie, as it gets into it, really becomes horror, because it's not like he can't die. He gets injured, he can die. And then the ending, I'm not going to give it away, is just stupid. I thought,
and it was just more. It was just more ways to torture the guy, and they did a good job of escalating that to the end. And again, I was just done, and I wanted this movie to end. Most of the time, I'm looking down, I'm looking away from the screen. That's how bad things got for me.
Yeah,
so,
I can't recommend it. And I like Jack Quaid, and I cannot recommend this movie. So pass for me. You wanted to walk out.
Yep. Well, believe me, the thought came into my mind many times.
By the way, you want to hear something sad? This is predicted to be the #1 movie at the box office and gross probably 10 million.
Yeah.
You will know on Monday.
Yeah.
But that's the sad state of box office right now.
Yeah. The funniest part of the movie, and this is the entire audience was in on it. It was the 4DX effect, because literally at 3 points in the movie, we're just being shook around like this for like several seconds, and it was like, why are we being tortured? We loved it.
Let's go to your comments here.
All right, the Brujo for 5 Australian. Fair enough, Alan. You already have a lot of gore to deal with in real life. Yeah.
Tell Alan about it.
Oliver Laverick Frog. The protagonist can't feel pain, so the audience has to. Exactly. Sin's Corner. I enjoy Novocaine okay, but didn't love it like I thought I would. Jack Quaid doesn't seem to have a lot of range, unfortunately. I think that's perfect for the role.
That's the thing. He's Jack Quaid in everything I've seen him in.
Bimo Better. Predictable movies are no fun. Yeah. Sons and Shadows. Jack is getting typecast. Yeah, I mean, it's essentially Huey. I mean, how far from Huey is he? Tim is not funny. Novocaine was so much fun in the theater. Haven't squirmed in my seat like that in a while. Audiences couldn't contain their audible reactions. Yeah.
Well, that's fair. I see how you could like it. I did not.
Yeah. You probably want to see it in 4DX, so go do it.
Exactly. All right. Let's talk about this one.
Okay. Yeah. So, I was actually at the North American premiere of this movie last Monday. So this is from Vietnam. We'll just go through this real quick, but it's a love triangle story. I'm not going to give you the names because it's just they're in Vietnamese. But we have a husband and wife who are very much in love. But the husband is kind of a workaholic. And he, in order to succeed in life and make a lot of money, he goes on business trips with the beautiful Linda, which is the woman in red there. And the wife suspects that he is cheating on her and employs her best friend and her aunt and uncle, which you could see in the poster there, along with the person in the bottom corner there, whose name is Jessica. And he is a tarot card reader who has basically predicted that her husband is cheating on him. So it's basically a love triangle story. It's a comedy, a rom-com, slapstick. There's a bit of intrigue in here. And the reason I bring up this movie is because it's a foreign film. It's in Vietnamese. And what I liked about it was, and I say this about every international film, what I love about international films is they're not hung up on American cultural problems. So this movie just goes full force into it. The slapstick is over the top. The romance, the rom-com aspect of it is over the top. This chase, the four rascals here who try to track down and see if is he really cheating. Very over the top. And then there's a mob angle to it that is over the top. So I would recommend this, especially if you just want to see something international, something out of the ordinary. So the director, Trinh Tran, I believe his name is, he has the number 1 and 2 highest box office films in Vietnam. This is the second one. And so, yeah, if you just want a light comedy, over the top silliness, wackiness, this is the movie to see.
So The Four Rascals, you recommend it?
I do recommend it. If you want to see an international film, but warning you, it's very over the top rom-com.
And not to tell you how to do your job, but say the name of the movie you're reviewing at the top of the review. Because sometimes we have people that only listen to the podcast. They don't watch it.
Okay, I thought you had said it. So.
No, I did not.
Right, The Four Rascals is the movie.
The Four Rascals. And Alan, do you recommend it?
I do recommend The Four Rascals.
Good to hear. Let's go to comments.
It's in theaters. Krazik's Middle Class Asians from Patrick Lemire.
Just to be clear, when Alan reads this, he's going to read what you write. So typos, which happen often on YouTube, and I'll defend that. I'll be watching YouTube on my phone, and I'll try to type comments. They're always bad. So yeah. I'm always getting typos in my...
Yeah, and sometimes typos are on purpose. SWD 40, starring Mukbang, Hugh Dong, and Holy Fook.
Could you say that again?
What? So I just said it. What are you talking about? I said it right. What, did I say it wrong? Did I say it wrong?
I just want to get a clip of you doing
the clean clip. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Lord Thaw. So you're saying it's over the top. It is over the top.
Well, there you go. Now let's talk about a movie on Netflix. Alan, if you would.
Yep. Keep going to the fetus.
Hey, let's talk about this big budget movie on Netflix. The reported budget for this thing is crazy. North of 400 million. We'll find out. This movie is from the Russo brothers, Anthony and Joe Russo. It's The Electric State, based on a novel that became a graphic novel. And it's about a brother and sister, kind of an alternate timeline of Earth, where Walt Disney invented robots and robots became a big part of society. And Michelle and her brother's this super genius. Michelle, played by Millie Bobby Brown, lost her brother in a tragic accident. But in the midst of this, there is a robot war where people are fighting robots that are defeated through the use of VR controlled by humans, other robots. It's crazy. So Michelle goes on a journey to find her brother when she discovers a robot says he is her brother. A little robot that's based on a cartoon that the brother used to watch when he was a kid. It's all very convoluted. Like the first 10 minutes, there's a prologue that does the world building. And I'll say this, the world building is amazing in this film. The special effects are incredible. You have these anthropomorphized robots based on like Mr. Peanut, Lemonhead, a taco that plays piano, a postal woman that's a mailbox, like amazing, weird, anthropomorphized robots. The world building is amazing. The problem is the world is dumb. It's dumb and illogical. he runs into a character played by Chris Pratt. I forget his name. And what's his name?
Keats,
who has another robot friend. He's a dealer in maybe illicit items he should not have, like the human version of eBay, selling stuff off in a warehouse. And Michelle and Keats go on this adventure to try to find her brother. The robot version of her brother that is their companion is sort of has the brain of her brother, but doesn't know where his body is. So his body is somewhere. They're trying to reunite the brain that's in the robot with the actual physical brother that is somewhere in the world. Stanley Tucci plays an evil character named Ethan Skate, who seems to be modeled off Jeff Bezos. I mean, he really truly is.
They look similar. Let's just put it that way. They look similar.
Very similar. Very similar. And he's the one that has created this sort of, I don't know, this police state with these robots that keep things in line. Robots are now outlawed. Humans can't have robots, and they're relegated to a safe zone. As long as they stay there, they're okay. So they go to this zone and then team up with other robots who go on the journey to try and find her robot brother's brain's body. It's convoluted. It's very simply laid out in the film. Kihei Kwan plays a scientist, Dr. Amherst, who plays a part in this with an avatar component robot. And I'll say the world building, incredible. The effects, amazing CG. I mean, you've got colossal construction robots used to fight battles. You've got action. Coleman Domingo plays a mercenary robot. The butcher of, what is it? The butcher of, I forget. The butcher of Schenectady or something.
Yeah, that's right.
And they're off on this journey together. So it is very much inspired by like 80s movies. Oh, there are tons of pop culture references because the movie is set in 1994. Kind of an alternate history where pop culture is the same, but the world technologically is different. It's incredibly ambitious. But like I said, the world building is so well done. But here's the main flaw with the movie. It feels like the whole movie was written by AI. Every line of dialogue in this movie is a cliche. I could predict what characters were about to say. Don't do this. You'll kill yourself. I'm your friend. It's so earnest, almost slavish to 80s and 90s blockbusters. It just copies that dialogue style. And I thought the characters are all two-dimensional. Woody Harrelson plays Mr. Peanut, kind of the head, the FDR of the robots, the leader, benevolent leader. And I got to say, I was so impressed by how, I mean, this is a multi-$100 million. Can you look up the box office or the
yeah, someone just said
budget?
320 million.
I mean, it is a huge budget movie. So I'll say this. I do think the Avengers movies are in good hands with the Russo brothers because what they're able to do is spectacle. But wow, they need help on the script. The flaw in this movie was the screenplay. Everything else, although I'm not a huge fan of Millie Bobby Brown, I don't know what it is with brother-sister relationships in movies these days. Seems like they're kind of overused, like way too affectionate.
Yeah, because we can't have romance anymore. So
you can't have romance. So there's a really weird connection between Millie Bobby Brown and her brother. Like, I don't mean it's sexual. It's just, it's too much and not believable. At least my recollection of, I have 3 sisters and we would tease each other a lot.
Yeah. But that's the point, is they've replaced romance with family love. But the thing is, you can't make a family without romance.
It's weird. So look, I'm very mixed on this movie. I would only recommend it for the spectacle, so it gets a bare recommend. But the script is terrible. Now I heard from Nerdrotic the comic book is great. I never read it. It's something that I could see this visually working great in a comic. In real life, and the effects, like, we have seen some bad CGI lately, really bad CGI in movies of late. You cannot say that about this movie. It is phenomenal. I would have liked to have seen this in a theater, actually, just for the spectacle, which is the only reason to see this on Netflix, because the story is so lame on every level. 2D characters, the anthropomorphized robots. It's so weird because they assume you're going to feel something. There's some very ET like moments with the robots, like with relationships with humans, and they come off flat. So I'm only recommending it only for the spectacle. The story is dumb. The world is dumb. The script is dumb. The effects are the best I've seen this year. The best. I could see this winning Oscar for best special effects. They were that good. But on every other level, a colossal disappointment. So probably 5 out of 10 for me. Alan, what'd you think?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying go to my companion review because, again, I don't understand this fascination that people have with cute robots and why we need to spend so much time and energy saving cute robots from destruction. I mean, that's essentially this movie. It's save the cute robots, save the cute robots. To me, it's just a waste of time from a story standpoint, from a philosophical standpoint. So having said that, let's talk about the movie. Do you remember the movie Heart Beeps?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I remember because I was on the tail end of junior high, middle school at the time it came out, and I remember really wanting to see this movie. It was Andy Kaufman and Bernadette Peters, and they played robots, and it was just. And I remember how excited I was wanting to see Heart Beeps in the movie, and I think my love of robots at that time kind of swayed my opinion about the movie a little too much toward good, because that movie is very dated. This movie reminds me of that, and I think the key to the Electric State is understanding the audience. This audience is for preteens and younger, maybe early teens, because that's the vibe I get. It's for kids. This is a kids movie, and I think as a kid who likes robots, whether you fall in love with the cute ones or hate the ugly ones, this movie is for kids. And I think kids will have a good time with this movie. I think you are 100% correct in the special effects and the world building. It is incredible. And that's why I'm saying if you have a young teens, I think this movie will appeal to them much more than older adults. It might be a little too violent and scary for younger kids, but this movie, I believe, hits that sweet spot of preteens and young teens.
Yeah.
And I think it will do well. And we talk about the budget. I'm looking at it here. Netflix has 300 million subscribers as of January. Over 300 million subscribers, paying what, $20 each? So they can afford to make a $320 million movie. And that's the problem I've always had with streamers making movies, because you don't have that metric. You don't have the accountability. I mean, why would you make a $320 million movie? I think the algorithm is what they rely on to say, okay, it's worth the expense. But it just seems like a monumental waste of money. And this is the issue I've had with streamers making movies from the very beginning, because at least with the box office, you have an idea of whether a movie is a success or not. But when you just make the movie and throw it on your streaming platform, you don't know if it's a success unless that company releases the data. So this is, I can believe it would cost 320 million. I can't believe they would spend 320 million to do it. They got to doge Netflix. Let's say that.
Well, like I said, my only reason for recommending you see it, even though it's a 5 out of 10, is the effects are just
Absolutely.
spectacular. The best I've seen in a long time. Like on a par with Dune Part 2. That's how good they are. Like believable characters. Like,
and the robots, the interaction with the robots, there's an Avatar element with these cyborgs that just menacing, looks great in the way they portray, and the robot fights felt real. It didn't feel like it was just watch it, but the robot fights are weird to watch, but it feels authentic.
Well, like I said, the world building was amazing, spectacular, colossal, believable, but the world is a dumb world. Let's go to your comments here.
Yeah, if you want to get your kids into STEM, watch Electric State. Khalid, but does it have a freaking IKEA chair?
No.
Scott Chrissy Jones, I hated it. This annoyed me more than the recent Snyder Pooh show.
Well, I believe you.
Again, a viewpoint for 5R. This is surreal. $320 million on a film that won't even get a theatrical release. Unthinkable. Years back, Netflix really wants theaters to burn. Yep.
Yeah.
This is not funny. Is the Electric State really that bad, or is it only that bad when considering the massive budget? Seems like a movie I want to see, but the reviews are abysmal. It's the plot. It's the plot.
It's the writing and the world.
Mm-hmm. The Seventh Cynic. Books are great. Movie tried to do a little too much, but still worth watching.
Yeah, it's funny because Alan and I are giving it like a bare recommend, but it's really just for the effects.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a kid into robots, this is right in their wheelhouse. They'll love this movie. Tom Siebert. Hey, Tom. Like Valerian and City of a Thousand Planets. Great world building, beautiful to look at. Yep. Techniques. Any forehead touching?
No.
Yeah, but again, brothers and sisters. ADLS24. This is from the same screenwriter as Infinity War and Endgame. Is it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yep, it is. It is the same writers as Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah. Alan, we have some more movies to review. We have an upcoming interview. Let's do this one, Opus. Okay. Here we go. Opus is about a pop star from the 90s, played by John Malkovich. His name is Moretti. A young writer, Ayo Edebiri from The Bear. Yep. He's a young writer and let me start this over. Moretti is like this pop star that is legendary, kind of a very mysterious person, like a kind of a like David Bowie type of character. And he's disappeared for 30 years at some weird ranch, never to resurface, and suddenly invites lucky people to come out to the ranch to hear his new album. So Ayo Edebiri, who plays Ariel Ecton, is one of the lucky people invited. It's kind of almost a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. People are plucked and selected by Moretti to come and for a private listening of his new album at the ranch. And things are not quite right. It's this beautiful, opulent ranch, like a spa getaway in the middle of the desert. It's surrounded by a gate, so it's closed off from the rest of the world. He has fans outside hoping for a glimpse of Moretti. And when these journalists and people from outside are brought in, there's like 6 of them. it gives that Willy Wonka feel. And much like Wonka, things go awry within the ranch. We finally meet Alfred Moretti, played by John Malkovich, who is as weird can be. He's dressed strangely. He talks strangely. His followers are way too cult-like in the way they worship him. And the first half of the movie is a comedy. This is ridiculous. How could they listen to the first song? I don't think it's anything special. It's kind of like most pop music today, kind of forgettable. But everyone just worships the ground he walks on, literally. Every weird ritual there's it like makes everything kind of strange. Everyone is kind of off in terms of, they're asked to, for example, dress a certain way. They're asked to trim their pubic hair, all the guests.
Oh,
It's very weird. It's very weird. But things go really bad in the middle of the movie when it goes from comedy to horror. And then it becomes a complete cult group, and Moretti is out for revenge from journalists who may have done him wrong in the past. And of course, we're all rooting for Ariel Ecton. I'm not familiar. I don't watch The Bear. I'm not familiar with her work, but I got to say,
he's in Bottoms, by the way.
Yeah, she's great in the movie. She is very relatable. She's introduced in the movie at the very beginning, talking to a coworker. They have this conversation where everything about her is normal and mid. There's nothing interesting about her, and she plays it so well. She plays it completely straight. But I not being real super familiar with her as an actress, she did a great job. So she's what made me stick with the movie. Once it makes this turn to complete horror, and obviously I'm not going to give away any of the events, it goes off the rails. And then the movie ends and continues for another 10 minutes in a sequence that tries to tell you out loud what the theme of the movie is. And it's really dark. I mean, I have to give this movie credit for swinging for the fences, but in the end, I don't think it works at all. But wow, this movie goes for it. Comedy to horror to an incredibly dark assessment of current culture that I did not expect. I mean, horribly dark. So, I mean, be warned with this movie. I give it a 5 out of 10. But what it attempts to do, I admire. So I'm not sure if I can give it a full, like even a Bear recommend, but if you like stuff that's weird, it's A24, folks. It's A24. It's going to be weird and different. So expect the unexpected. And it does go there. But that last 10 minutes was an incredibly dark commentary on society today. Let's go to your comments.
I just want to say, but it seems like, Ari Aster makes these great movies and then people try to copy it. And when I saw the trailer, it just felt like that this was a copy of Midsummer, or trying to be something like that.
It's elements of Midsummer, maybe, but a little elements of Willy Wonka. Yeah. But in the end,
but it's that idea of something successful, so we have to copy it. And this felt like that it was just a copy of trying to.
The thing that saved it for me was that the lead actress. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's just great. Ayo Edebiri.
Yeah, she was in Bottoms, and she's probably done some of the better episodes of Saturday Night Live when she hosted.
So she's good.
Very good. Okay.
But this movie, again, mixed. Let's go to your comments here.
All right. From ZG, member for 3 months. I got to go into work now. Earbud mode activated.
There you go.
Mike MC Wong, a lot of the weird shit didn't pay off. What is it with the shaving pubic hairs?
Precisely.
It was there just to say it. That was it. Axelis Adobe, how does it compare to something like The Menu?
Very similar in tone. I liked The Menu better.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Hey, it's me and HD. So another A24 Weird Out Fest pass. Exactly. That's my point. Shane the Liver. They misspelled the poster. It's supposed to be called Oops. Axelis Adobe again. How does it compare to something like that? Do we get that one? Yeah, Party Boy 2. OMG, Alan, stop your sweating on me. Robot Dues. Also, what is it with putting those literal who's on the poster and not the actor that people actually know? Yeah, it's like
they should have put Malkovich on the poster.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. All right, we're waiting. Our review or our interview subject is late, so we're going to do another review.
I think that's the only one left.
No, Borderline.
Borderline, okay.
There you go. All right, let's talk about Borderline. Alan, did you see
Borderline? I did not see it. I did not see it.
Borderline stars Ray Nicholson as Doorson and Samara Weaving as Sophia. Doorson escapes a mental institution and basically breaks into the mansion of Sophia, played by, as I said, Samara Weaving, who is a pop star, and he's a sociopath bent on marrying her. And this movie, I don't know what to say about this. So he's completely delusional. And Ray Nicholson plays a good sociopath. I have to give him credit. He plays a great sociopath who is has this complete fantasy that he's going to marry Sophia. And there's horrible over-the-top violence. There are deaths and near deaths. There are twists in this thriller that I will not reveal. But everyone in the movie acts like the stakes don't matter. It's described as a thriller comedy. I think the comedy fell flat. He's forcing Sophia to marry him in a church where he's gotten dressed in a tux. And I just don't buy the reality of it. The comedy is how over the top and ridiculous every situation was. So it wants to be funny or a thriller. And look, I've seen that done well. I've seen a good mix of a thriller comedy. This did not do it, unfortunately. So the only thing that saves it is Samara Weaving and Ray Nicholson are very good with, I will have to say, unfortunately, a terrible script. So it's a little low budget indie and it's in limited release. And I just think the whole thing is for a comedy that is dark, the tone, you've got to get the tone exactly right. The tone has to be right. And this one did not do it. So I'm sorry, I cannot recommend Borderline. It's the trailer makes it look way better than it is, but there's nothing worse than going for humor and then falling flat on your face. So non-recommend for me. Let's go to comments here.
Yes. Bill W., all the movies have some form of mental illness, it seems. Yep.
Exactly.
Uncle Remus, they should make a Shining prequel with this guy.
Yeah, I like him. By the way.
And Patrick Lemire, it's hard to use mental illness as a comedy premise. Oh, they do it all the time, believe me.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So there you go. All right.
Yeah. What about Bob?
Exactly. What about Bob? Hey, as you know, on this show, we talk about independent films and release. We talk to independent filmmakers. That's what we do. Alan and I love doing it. So let's talk to the director of Endless Calls for Fame, Olivia Serafini-Sauli. Hey, Olivia.
Hi, everyone.
How did I do on your name? Did I do
Oh my
okay?
God, you were amazing. It's really hard. I was very impressed, Chris.
Oh, great. Thank you so much. Hey, so tell us about your documentary, Endless Calls for Fame.
So it's a film about New York in the late 90s and the music scene that was happening at the time. And it's told through the story of one band called the New Rising Suns that had this kind of moment, very brief moment in the sun in that period. And they were friends of mine. I was part of a music scene that they were part of. And I essentially sort of accidentally started to find all this existing footage I had of them back then, and really came together with this story of what had happened to them, what was happening at that period, into what happened to them subsequently and where they were today. And it was sort of this journey. It took a while to make. It was I'm still kind of shocked that I did it and that I'm here, and I'm super humbled. And we are releasing it today. We partnered with Gravitas, who picked up the movie, and are distributing it for us. And it's coming out today on many streaming platforms, Apple TV, Amazon, and I'm still kind of pinching myself.
Oh, Chris, you're muted.
It reminds me of an archival documentary. I mean, there's a lot of older footage mixed with newer footage, almost like, and it had to be decades in the making.
Well, it actually started 5 years ago. What happened is that the guitar player in the band, Kevin, had reached out to me and said, he had found these reels of this lost album of theirs and said, look, I'm trying to figure out what to do with this. Do you have any photographs from that period? And I said, sure, let me see what I have. And I went back, I looked at stuff. I had a lot of pictures. And then I found this box full of high 8 videotapes, which you probably remember. There are those, like, it was a pre-mini DV format, super analog and crazy retro now, but at the time, like, kind of new. You could have a small camera to carry around. And I had all this footage of them and all this footage of that whole scene. And I said, you know what, let's do something, let me interview you guys. Let's see, maybe I'll make like a 5-minute video for you. And that's how it started. And I had no idea, honestly, that at the time that I was going to end up on this journey of making a full feature doc. And here I am 5 years later. So it's kind of surreal.
I'm kind of intrigued by the title, Endless Call for Fame. What is the meaning behind that?
That is actually the name of one of their songs off of their album, Set It Right. It's yeah.
Let's take a look at the trailer for the movie. It's 2 minutes. You see it there? Let's do it.
In the moment in time the New Rising Suns existed, you sort of bet on dreams. It was an amazing time in New York. It's just at a moment in a place, you had like a certain energy.
There was still that promise that you could be a rock star.
It was obvious right away that the three of us had some sort of an aesthetic together. They kind of looked like the Verve. They looked like a young version of the Rolling Stones.
The feeling of excitement in the room, because it was like they had that energy, like they had the buzz.
A certain pop appeal. They had a cool image. People were like, this is going to be a big band.
Every show was sold out. Lines around the block.
It would be massive. It just sounded amazing.
The dream of making music, it was all just like, bam.
You're going to have lackeys all over the place in about 4 months.
We had done months of work to get to that point.
Kevin and I just were clashing a lot.
Cracks that we're developing become crevices. The record label sees it as a sign of weakness.
That's more of an incentive for them to be like,
These people don't realize they have your lives in their hands.
The dream was over the second the New Rising Suns was over.
And I was like, I'm not going to let this die just yet.
at that time in our lives, the three of us were supposed to be together.
This is a band that a lot of people didn't get a chance to hear, and they were really good.
I think it's very unusual for a band to get a second chance like this.
The stars really did come together for Drew, Kevin, and I.
We were part of a big thing in New York.
Right time, right place, / wrong time, wrong place.
Wow. Nice trailer, by the way. That's what I mean about a film decades in the making. You have all this old footage. You've got to organize that on hard drives, go through it, make a library. I mean, it is an arduous process. How'd you deal with all the old footage and then, marrying that with footage you were shooting for present day?
Yeah, it was pretty challenging. I had to figure out, first of all, we had to have everything transferred, which you have to do. Again, you got to transfer everything digitally. And then we had to work with a great archival restoration colorist named Zach, who had to kind of restore a lot of the material, and make sure that it was, a lot of the color had just kind of faded. So we had to kind of find ways to actually pull that color out again, which was really super cool. But that took a while. And then, so that was like all of my archival. And then by chance, the one of the sound engineer in the movie, actually, after I interviewed him, I asked him if he had any footage, and he said, let me see. And he literally goes into a storage unit in Jersey and pulls out a box, and it was all the original footage that he had shot of them recording their album in Bearsville, which everybody had thought had been lost. Like, nobody knew where it was. So then all of a sudden I ended up with all these other tapes that I had to kind of go through. And it was so fun. I mean, it's incredible when you're doing something archival to be able to come up with that. It's like a dream, you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God, the lost tapes. So we went through all of that, and it was just a question of pulling out the moments that seemed to make the most sense. And you just have to kind of rewatch it and log it and weed it down. I worked with an amazing editor, Gabby Torres. And so we just kind of focused in on trying to kind of extract the very best. Of course, so much ends up on the cutting floor. You're like, oh no, I wish I could have used everything, but
We have about 1,000 people watching live. Let's go to some questions from our audience. We have a lot. From Anonymous, some comments. That band was in New York scene. So there you go. Cool trailer. That's cool. From Solomon Thornton. Oliver Lavery Frock. All that archival footage looks great. Takes me back. I remember the Village Voice saying this band was great, says Tom Siebert, but I don't think they ever actually put out an album.
God, amazing. Oh my God, that's incredible. Yes. Wow, that's awesome, Tom. Yeah, so this is the story. You have to see the movie. It's about what actually happened with this lost album, which now actually, spoiler alert, came out. So if he's a fan, he should check it out for sure.
Tim is not funny. This is awesome. There is a band or artist like this in every music scene. Could have and should have been huge, but the stars only rarely align. Yeah. So here we go. From Aid Ellis 24. What other films, docs about similarly underappreciated bands, such as a band called Death, Dig, and Anvil, inspired you to tackle this story? I feel like it's a story for a lot of other bands.
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Yeah, it's pretty emblematic of the time. And it was interesting because during this process, I would, a lot of people would come up and say to me, this exact thing happened to me. It happened a lot in the 90s, a lot of bands that kind of got underappreciated and just didn't, there was such a glut of music coming kind of in that post-Nirvana moment that a lot of these great bands kind of fell by the wayside. So it is representative of, unfortunately, a lot of musicians' experience. A lot of people that I knew, friends of mine, had similar experiences. So it's interesting that they mentioned Dig, because that's also obviously a film that was very much, a film I adored as well. Obviously, those two bands that she covered were much bigger. I mean, they're very big bands, but so it is, a lot of people connect to that reality that happened back then.
From Patrick Lemire, were they a wetlands scene jam band?
No, great question, Patrick. I remember that scene well. But no, they were not. They came out of the more kind of sort of New York hardcore CBGBs, and then kind of that sort of emo post-hardcore brownies. I don't know if those are venues that people remember. A lot of Mercury Lounge, those kind of places was more that sort of kind of more, I would say more the punk scene probably than the jam band scene.
Razorburn. So the 1990s, was this during the grunge scene?
Yeah, it was actually post that. It kind of came up in the later part of the 90s. When the grunge thing was actually kind of fading away. People were kind of looking for the new sound. And their particular story is literally like this little slice of time right before the next big, huge New York rock wave, which was out of Williamsburg, and basically the Strokes, the Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Interpol, and the whole aughts scene that started. And so they were literally they were on the cusp of that.
The nerd far away. Hail, Ms. Serafini-Sauli. What's your hot take on the Spinal Tap sequel? I don't know if you even knew there was one.
I mean, is that happening?
Yeah, in September.
It's really happening now.
Yes.
They just posted a teaser trailer for it.
Okay, you're ahead of me. I mean, I can't even. I'm so excited. Like, come on. Like, how can we not be?
And our last question here from Aid Ellis 24. Timing wise, it sounds like the new Rising Suns just missed the heyday of the late 90s, early aughts NYC rock that was captured in the doc, Meet Me in the Bathroom. Do they resent missing the boat?
What a great question. And you're totally correct. In fact, Meet Me in the Bathroom and my film were being made. We were kind of in post-production. They actually finished before me. I was still working, but we were sort of running parallel. And it's absolutely a complete companion piece because essentially that movie, Meet Me in the Bathroom, starts exactly when my movie ends. So they were exactly before. Like, if anybody wants to do a New York rock double feature, like chronologically, it's exactly that. Like, the minute my film ends is when that whole scene took off. And in theory, had things gone differently, they probably would have been part of that scene. But yeah, that was a great question.
Cool. Congratulations on the movie. You mentioned earlier it's out today on VOD on all platforms.
Yes, everywhere. If you just put in the name Endless Calls for Fame, it comes up in various different places. Everybody can choose where they want to see it, and I hope people check it out.
I love that. Congratulations, Olivia. Thanks for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Congrats on the film.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.
Look at that. And guess what? We still have time to do one last review. How about some more news stories? The ones we missed.
No, someone's complaining about having too many news stories.
No, I'm okay with it if we've got time.
Oh, now you're okay.
For one that would make a good clip?
What? No, actually. Rachel Zegler is going to be Evita. Is that the story you want? Or
what's next for Rachel Zegler? We'll save that for Monday.
Yeah.
Save it for Monday. Let's talk about this movie.
All right.
We need a palate cleanser. We need a palate cleanser because there has been, I'll say this. I've seen almost every movie that's opened in theaters, and they've been mostly meh to okay, good to bad, and mostly bad. I have not seen a movie that would even make my top 50 list this year so far. It is bleak for movies, but the indie film world is hopping. The indie film world is hopping with great choices, and that's part of our job is to tell you about them. There is a movie that's coming out. This is an early review of a movie called The Fetus by first-time feature director Joe Lamb. This movie stars from Terrifier, Lauren Lavera. Bill Moseley is the movie. Lauren is Alyssa. She has this boyfriend who's actually kind of lame, to be honest. He's kind of flaky with her. His name is Chris. And Chris is a little flaky. They are having sex. And guess what? She gets pregnant. And she is in fear. Why? Because her father told you should never get pregnant. And if you do, you need to come see me. Bill Moseley plays Maddox, her father, who lives in a cabin in the woods. And Chris and Alyssa go out to the cabin to talk to her dad about her pregnancy. She goes to the doctor and weird things begin to happen. I don't even know how to tell you this, so I'll just say it out loud. It's a killer fetus that reaches from the nether regions of Alyssa to kill its victims. I'm not making this up, okay? This is an over-the-top, crazy in terms of ideas. Every 10 minutes, the stakes raise. And it reminds me of an old school horror from the 80s and 90s inspired by Frank Henenlotter. If you've ever seen things like Basket Case, this is like Basket Case. So this fetus that's growing inside of Alyssa is murdering people to consume. And they have to. Now, I will say this. A movie of this name is immediately probably going to turn some people off. But it doesn't make, I'll say, you could have with this movie made some kind of social commentary about maybe abortion, about pro-life or abortion rights. The movie does none of that. It doesn't come down on any political agenda. There's not a line that's about, it is simply about a pregnant woman who has a monster in her body, and she goes to her dad for advice because her father has a history with this problem. I'll just say that. I don't want to give too much away. Great performances by Lauren Lavera. Bill Moseley, solid. He's so great in everything. I love Bill Moseley. Big fan of him. Julian Curtis, who plays Chris, is very good. This is old school horror. It's not modern horror. It's not Blumhouse. It's not trying to be quippy or funny, but some of the circumstances are very funny because of this killer fetus in the body of this woman. Don't be turned off by the title. It is weird in the best ways. It's like, if you like the movie Basket Case by Frank Henenlotter, you will love The Fetus. Great review from me. 8 out of 10 for me. We are going to have Joe Lamb on the show next Wednesday. He is coming on the show. We will interview him. We'll look at the trailer for The Fetus. I loved it. Alan, I think you would love it.
All right. So this goes on your top 50 of the year.
Yes, so far. It might drop. I don't know. But in terms of horror movies, this is in my top favorite horror movies of this year, simply because the tone of it is like a classic horror film. Also, it's not, there's no obvious CGI. It's practical effects. It's just weird. It swings for the fences and hits the ball. It's fun. It's a short horror film, as good horror films are, tight, and leaves it. I want to see a sequel. This could be the Fetus franchise, and Lauren Lavera from the Terrifier films is awesome. So I really enjoyed it. Had a good time with this. There's an interview on our for members only. I filmed the Q&A with the director and cast, but the director will be here next week. The movie is coming to theaters and VOD next week, I believe.
Next Friday.
So look for it. Put it on your radar. Limited release, but I really felt it was important to cover this movie because I like this kind of indie. I will say this. This is on my list for award this for sure. For horror. I mean, it was so well done. And this is Joe Lamb's first feature. Let's go to comments here.
Reminds me of V. Remember the pregnant teen in V? And
yeah,
it's
all that.
Right. Timothy Tinkle F. This looks creepy AF.
It is.
Atomic Lori. Oh no, a coffee table companion.
Perfect companion with the coffee table.
Oh my god. Spike Insanity. Rosemary's Fetus, a prequel to Rosemary's Baby. LOL.
Well, Rosemary's Baby and this movie would make a great double feature.
All right. Patrick Lemire, in this movie, the baby aborts you.
Yeah.
Uncle Remus, crotch killer. There we go.
Oh no, this is great.
Patrick Lemire, fetal attraction.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, it's me in HD. Seems like a ringing endorsement for Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, it's just it's got a good sense of humor. It's got a good sense of humor. I recommend it. So that's it for us today. We are back on Monday with Versus. A storm is coming. That storm is Snow White. We will talk about it on Monday with lots of stories about Snow White. We will do a Tuesday out of the theater reaction and a late night stream for Snow White on late Tuesday, probably 10 p.m. ish.
Yes.
And Wednesday, Hollywood on the Rocks, and our normal Friday live cast where we review. We have a lot of movies to review.
Magazine Dreams.
Keep that in mind. Jonathan Majors, is he back? So I want to thank our mods, Lord Thoth and MK Solid, Atomic Lori, who never gets enough thanks. Never. She won't even thank herself. And she works very hard, and we appreciate her. You know what? She works so hard, she works too hard. So make of that what you will.
Yes.
There you go.
Look at that, folks.
And yeah, what are you doing this weekend, Alan? What's up?
I will be at the National Comedy Theater.
Repeat that because
Saturday
you dropped out.
7:50.
Repeat that. You still drop out all the time.
I know. I don't know what to do now. But National Comedy Theater in San Diego, I'll be performing improv comedy there 7:30 tomorrow, Saturday. I'll just say it, I've been killing it the last few weeks. So this might be a very good show. This will probably be a great show.
I want to ask all my friends to pray for me. Because St. Patrick's Day is Monday. So that means that tomorrow is St. Patrick's Day Eve. And then Sunday is St. Patrick's Day Eve. And then Monday is St. Patrick's Day. And then the following day is the day after St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day aftermath.
So I just want to say to all my people, because I am part Irish, pray for me if you're in church.
Anonymous asks us to pray for your liver.
Yeah, exactly. No, I don't drink nearly as much as I used to. It's I keep that under control, but I don't keep it from myself either.
Yeah,
I'm
I would
just
say
measured.
this weekend, please make member content as you're going out and celebrating.
I might go to the races. I might go to the racetrack, and I'll do a video for members only of me at the racetrack on St. Patrick's Day. How about that?
Yeah, and I could put up a video of Tiana's Bayou Adventure.
Do it.
Okay, I'll do it. It's ready to go. I can post it.
Do it.
All right.
That would be great. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. And like Alan, this is Alan's review of The Fetus.
Indie horror films scare the living bejesus out of my grape juice and crackers.
I liked the joke the year before.
Yeah, but I couldn't repeat the same joke.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
Thank you to everybody who sent in a super chat. We appreciate you. I know we're reviewing movies a lot of people don't care about, which is kind of sad, even though there are good ones. The Day the Earth Blew Up, Looney Tunes, recommend. Black Bag, recommend. And The Fetus, I recommend. So those are your, make of that what you will. If you don't like horror, you're not going to like The Fetus. If you like spy movies, you're going to like Black Bag.
And if you have kids, you like Looney Tunes, and you may even like Electric State if you have kids.
Yeah. So look, there are gems in the rough. We try to find them for you, and there you go. Have a great weekend, everybody. Alan,
let's get out of here.